Hi, Game Reactor friend. It's a special Game Reactor live stream as it's the week after Gamescom, and we're here joined by the editors who formed the team in Germany and who are still exhausted and smell like bratwurst spirit. And I'm so happy to be joined by my colleagues Rebecca and Ben and Jacob, and this is Denmark, UK, and Spain, making up the full team. Plus, of course, a big shout out to our cam ladies, Natasha and Celine, who are still working at the Danish office. So yeah, we are people of traditions, and we always do the badge drop at the very end of Gamescom. But this year there was this chaos with trains and flights and etc. Don't ask Rebecca or Jacob. You will tell us about your experience in a moment. But we couldn't do the badge drop, so we will do at the end of this live stream. We couldn't do it at the venue itself, so we didn't film the day 3 impressions and the wrap up. And today it's all about that. We're going to tell you about our personal and professional experience. Before we begin, I have to say I'm super proud, and I'm going to get a little bit emotional because it was a huge effort, and we attended more than 100 appointments, and there's a lot to publish, and I'm super happy about that. And I think only very few outlets in the world do that, more so with a multi-country team. And I stop talking because I'm about to cry. So, Ben, your turn. Really? Wow. Fantastic. And we got to see a fewer games, of course, on Friday because we had to leave. But some of them were pretty interesting, and we really didn't want to miss those appointments. One thing to check very quickly, technically, Rebecca, can you speak for a little while because some of the live viewers are not getting Ben's voice? What about that? What about that? You get Rebecca and not Ben? How can that be possible? Let's check this. No, they're not getting you guys. I'm getting you. But probably. Yeah. Let me try this. What about now? You keep talking, guys?
Hello, hello. Now you can hear us.
Hopefully you can hear us, yeah.
I know what happened here. Probably you're back. So let's wait for the guys to confirm, but I think you're back. I think what happened now. Yeah. All right. So, you know, Ben, we don't care about what you highlight from we don't give a damn about what you enjoyed on day 3. But you can go through them quickly at the very end when we review like the game of the show, okay? If you don't mind. So we'll move on to Jacob, who's been silent, but I think we can hear him now.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah. Yeah, the day 3 was also very, very busy for me. We went to a lot of appointments, so it's all still a bit jumbled in my head. But I'll say one of the games that really stood out was this racing game called Stuntfest, where you're basically just driving around in the desert, trying to get to first place. But that's, of course, there's a twist because you can like shoot yourself out from the car and go flying, and you can take a parachute, you can shoot through cannons and obstacles and stuff like that. Yeah, and it seems really nice. Unfortunately, I didn't get to try it myself. I saw the developer play. Yeah, and it just looked like a lot of fun because I think one of the main thing I don't enjoy about racing games is that if you like get too far behind or if you're too far in front, it's not really that exciting. But here there always seems to be like a way to get ahead if you're willing to take the risk, of course. So yeah, I would say that was my day 3 highlight.
Was that THQ Nordic?
Yeah.
That's crazy
They were
because they also
puppet.
had this recreation game, which is similar in a way, arcade racing with crazy physics, and it's they're really betting on the arcade racing genre to some extent, and they had a lot of interesting games this year, huge booth. And we're talking about the business area, so this wasn't public, but they were showing, of course, SpongeBob and Alone in the Dark and some other really interesting games, and they were giving free beer and gin, but we couldn't even test that, and food, which is even more important when you're working. But okay. So what about Rebecca? What was your highlight from day 3, Alon?
Well, I have to say that I had a big highlight that day because I was able to play Lies of P the last day.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I'm sorry for you viewers because you have to just watch my gameplay, the one that I'm dying all the time, but I get to kill one big enemy. It was amazing. The environment, everything. I mean, it was like playing like a fantastical Dark Souls, but with a unique essence, which I don't know what is it exactly, but it feels so familiar and so different at the same time, and I really enjoyed it. And by the other hand, I had one that I didn't remember that I knew about it, which was called Flintlock. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was announced at the last E3. But we just saw like a tiny trailer with a really different character with a kind of mystical fox, and I get to see some gameplay. I couldn't, I wasn't able to play it by myself, but they explained to me a lot of things. I've seen one of the developer playing it, and it's gorgeous. I mean, I'm comparing everything with Dark Souls, but it's like a kind of genre itself, okay? But it was amazing because it makes like the weaponry thing that I'm most of the times bored about it with some fantastical dark magic thing all mixed together, mixing a Dark Souls combat system with some I don't know, magical things. I don't know, a lot of things, a lot of mobility, a lot of cool stuff that I was just amazed, and I really want to just see it back again. Those are highlights.
And it's really really nice about Lies of Pina that you mentioned. We also got the interview with John. Let me get this right because Cho Ji-won, and it was really nice because both the hands-on time was really really difficult to have because it was available at the Xbox area and people were queuing from very early in the morning, and you didn't want to be so unpolite, so you waited and it was impossible. So we managed to rebook that one and have you play like really in a relaxed way, as relaxed as you can be when you're dying again and again. And then we also improvised that interview with the game director from NeoWiz and Nov. And that's pretty exclusive, so you guys can check both out, the 23-minute gameplay and the interview with the director at your local game reactor site. And Ben, if you want to mention again which were your highlights, that's really nice. And we move on to other sort of Gamescom things.
Yeah, I'll keep it real brief, real short, because I've already been there and said that. So day 3, for me, it's Quantic Dream. It's seeing... I forgot the name of the game. Something
Under the Waves.
or something like that.
Yep.
Under the Waves, that's it. Seeing that game plays really interestingly. It's sort of like a space game, except it's set under the water or under the ocean. So sort of like instead of 0 Gs, you sort of swim around and all that. But again, it's a Quantic Dream game, so you've pretty much that you're going to get some sort of wacky, interesting narrative at its core that's going to be sort of like the highlight of the game. So for me, I think that was my highlight of the day because, as you mentioned earlier, Dav, day 3 was a bit shorter. We didn't get to do as many things as we'd like to. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at Under the Waves this time. I'm not going to mention the chant. I like the chant. I think the chant's something we should keep an eye out for. But yeah, Under the Waves, that was my day 3 highlight.
And we have to say that Under the Waves is published by Quantic Dream in this new publisher capacity, but it's also a French game. It's a French studio, same as Quantic Dream, and they are from Paris, and they are called Parallel Studio, if I'm correct. They've been doing some narrative and VR things before, so it's really nice that you're the publisher, but you pick something that is like yours. So this looks like a Quantic Dream game, even though it's this different studio getting a chance now. So why don't you guys tell people a little bit about the personal experience, the hustle, the exhausting experience, the many appointments we had, the different interviews. If you have any interview highlights, something more personal, even the off Gamescom stuff. Starting with you, Ben, again. Now that we have a voice.
Yeah. I'll definitely go first. I mean, I think for this year's Gamescom, it was a really big one for me because, it's been 3 years since we've done any physical events, or at least I've done any physical events. So going and seeing people and doing things in person, it sort of restores a bit of faith in your job a little bit. It sounds weird to say, but you spend so much time at your computer, at your desk, working like this. To then go out into the world and meet people, it's really... It's a pleasure, it's something that it's a privilege. And that for me is probably like the big highlight. As much as I saw loads of great games, Dead Island 2, Plague Tale Requiem, games that I'm like incredibly excited about, I still think it's just, the general experience of being out there with people and meeting people and all that stuff. And, again, as you said earlier, you don't want to get too emotional about it, but the people we're out there with were an absolute great bunch. And, I'd work another event with them in a split second. So that for me is like the big one. And while everyone will say they were tired, I don't think it was as tiring as some of the events we've done. I mean, the last E3, or the only E3 I've ever been to, that one nearly killed me. It was great, but that was a lot of work. And because you were there with me, Dav. But yeah, I think this one was a bit more bearable. So that's for me in a nutshell, my sort of experience.
There's always a jet lag with LA, but there can always be mosquitoes with Cologne, as I learned the hard way. So it was super warm this year. I have to say that it was extremely warm. Everyone was saying that I had these sweat patches all the time, and one of the nights I almost couldn't sleep because of the mosquitoes. We were sleeping next to the river, which is really nice, very centric, and it was really easy to go to the venue. But yeah, and people are asking for Rebecca to share her experience, and she got bitten by just one mosquito. So that's the summarize. But of course, please, Rebecca, tell us about your personal experience. I don't know if you want to share the last run you had for the last flight.
Oh, well, the last day was I don't know how to even describe it. I mean, I was crying the whole afternoon. I mean, well, that's another thing. But let's begin with the good thing, okay? And I'll end it with the crying. But don't worry, I'm all right. I'm at home. But I don't know. For me, it was like really special because it's my first like big event, and with you guys, which are like so professional, and I felt like so tiny. So what am I doing here? But at the same time, so happy, so proud that you choose me to just be with you. It was super cool because I don't know. I felt every time that I had like I felt like super lucky for being able to talk with developers because they tell you a lot of things like okay, you can watch an interview, you can I don't know, watch them sometimes playing their gameplays about their games, whatever, but it was so special to just have them in front of you, just talking to you with their I don't know, with their happiness of being here, with their I don't know, proud of their game. I mean, it was so special for me, and I was I don't know. I felt like so embarrassed for being there, like just trying to. I don't know. I wasn't criticizing or whatever their game, but at the same time, I had to give like my impression. But they felt so emotional with their games, and I was like, how am I going to say anything bad or good with this game? I mean, I don't know. It was so cool, so tiring, obviously, and well, the last day was so tiring, was awful because the Cologne airport was I don't know, was incredibly overcrowded. I mean, it was crazy. I had like 2 hours for just picking up my plane, but the queue was like 5 hours waiting or something like that. I don't know, it was crazy. I was crying because I had to take another plane on Milan, and I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to get home. Then when I was at the plane, actually, I mean, well, I was running. I was just telling everyone that I should get back home. I don't know. And when I was on the plane, suddenly they said, "Okay, the plane is going to be delayed for just like half an hour more." And I was like, "Can be true." And I was just sitting on the plane like this.
Yeah.
I mean, just trying to figure out what I'm going to do in Milan when I arrive, because I'm not going to take the next plane, and like this. People talking to me like, "Oh, the weather is so weird today. Yeah, we cannot fly because of the weather." And I was like, "Dude, I just want to die and get home.
Yeah.
I want to die." But well, luckily, both of my planes were delayed. I got home. I could rest, and I could just think about the entire Gamescom experience, which was worth it at all. I mean, super. So in my case, really good until the end.
We love our German friends, but we have to say there is some chaos going on. It's so messy with the trains, with the €9 ticket. Every train is packed, and with the airports, and they are overcrowded and understaffed, as you said. And of course, Jacob had a similar experience, and I don't know if you want to share that or something else about your personal experience at Gamescom.
Well, obviously, Gamescom itself was a fantastic experience. Much the same thing as you have been describing. So nice to finally get to meet people in real life. You guys meeting the developers, just going around, not sitting at your desk. Of course, there's many benefits from working at home, and in many ways, I love it. But it's nice sometimes to get out. But yeah, the trip home was really chaotic. First, we had to get the train to Düsseldorf, and there were so many trains going, and none of them seemed to go the right way. And we were just about to quit when suddenly a train arrived, and there were like no people on it, and it went straight to the airport. So I thought, yes, now everything is running smoothly, and it'll be fine. And then I arrived at the airport, and they started delaying the planes. And then, just like Rebecca, I got onto the plane, and then they said, just as we had been like fasten our seatbelts, they said the plane has been delayed for another hour because of bad weather. And all the Germans on the plane went absolutely insane. And I was just sitting there. Yeah, what can you do? So finally, I got to Munich. I have to like catch my my what do you call it? My connection flight. Then I was like an hour, 15 minutes too late to catch the flight. And then, yeah, they said you can book a hotel room yourself and we'll pay for it, or you can stay at the airport. And it was like getting late, and I was so tired for all the days at Gamescom. So I just thought, well, I'll stay here at the airport all night, not sleeping. And yeah, I did so.
At least got a blanket.
I watched some. Yeah, I got a blanket, got something to eat, watched some Nicolas Cage movies on Disney Plus. He's always good when you're trying not to fall asleep. So yeah, it was not the funniest way to get home, but the next day everything worked out, and yeah, I got home just in time to catch all the Premier League games. So yeah, everything worked out fine, I will say.
And
but it was a kind of boring way to end it all, because everything ran so smooth while we were down there.
Yeah, incredibly smooth. For as Ben said, it's been 3 years, so I was expecting it to be more cancelled appointments, etc. And it was really, we managed to grab it basically all. So, but speaking of things that we didn't like that much, but not in terms of logistics, but more in terms of the games or the showings or what we felt while playing or underwhelming, or if you guys want to mention something, because not everything is super bright. We have to be critics, of course. And for example, I didn't like the Hogwarts Legacy showing during the Rebecca, and the event was nice. The showcase was really good. I think pretty solid, nice, average quality. It was very colorful. Many different European studios, which is what you expect from Gamescom, and that's so different compared to LA-based events. But Hogwarts Legacy had just been delayed, and I think the showcase was really bland, really shallow. So other than that, what would you guys choose as a slight disappointment or something that you were expecting much more from? And we can start by Jacob here.
Yeah, I'll probably start by one that I think Rebecca liked the game, but that was called Planet of Lana. It's a colorful platform game set on like a foreign planet, and you're playing as a boy. And yeah, it reminds me a bit about Inside or Limbo, but of course with a totally different art style. But the thing is, you have this like pet companion with you, and I just couldn't control it. It's just like a dog or something in real life. I have no control over it. It was when I tried to make it sit, it came running, and I tried to control it and wouldn't do anything. And yeah, it ruined it for me. But I must say, I only played like 10 minutes or so. So I think once you get used to it, it probably has a lot of potential. But that's like the thing with these kind of Gamescom demos. They have to make an instant impact.
Yeah.
Because you have so little time to get into the game. So yeah, that was a slight disappointment. And there was also another one I was thinking. I had
on the chat they say you play your life in hard mode, Jacob.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I was playing this card game called Four Tales, and and we played for all the story and stuff, and it was really like such a exciting premise, but also it was just so hard to get into if you didn't know what. I played for like nearly an hour, and I still couldn't understand it. But I'm hoping to play it some more one of these days, and hopefully it will be better.
What about you, Ben?
I think for me, the most disappointing one would probably be the System Shock remake.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like it has a lot riding on it, right? And a lot of people want this to be like exceptional, and it just didn't really do anything for me. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not like a diehard System Shock fan in the first place, but I was just nothing really blew me away with it. So I can't see it being that huge sort of massive remake that people have been looking for. I think it's going to let people down a little bit in that regard. Again, though, granted, like as Jacob said, it's a Gamescom demo, so there's plenty of time for the developers to make improvements and change things. So what we've seen or what I've seen is probably not an accurate representation of what other people will see. But yeah, it didn't really do anything for me per se. I hope it'll be better. I hope that it'll hit people a little bit better than that. But I think that's the one that really let me down the most. I think, generally speaking, I think I was quite fortunate with the things I saw. Majority of the time, the games they played really well. There wasn't any like particular issues. I did have an issue with Dark Tide. Sorry. We had just a game. I think there was like an update or something that Fat Shark back in Sweden put out just as we had our appointment, so the game just physically wouldn't work, which is a shame. So I never got a chance to actually play it. And there was some other situations happening behind the scenes, which I won't get up into to preserve a little bit of embarrassment. But yeah, it was it wasn't a flawless Gamescom, but we weren't expecting that to be the case, should we say? But generally speaking, I think the games that I got to see were pretty good.
Yeah. What about you, Rebecca?
For me, it's a little bit difficult because it's one of my highlights, but at the same time, it was a little bit disappointing. Just because, I'm talking about the Dark Pictures Anthology, the Evelyn Me. I really wanted to play that game because I played all the Dark Picture Anthology title. So I was really curious about what were they going to do with that title because I really wanted something fresh, something. The last ones were a little bit disappointing for me, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the essence that they were trying to get back to the series. But at the same time, I had like we shared in our impressions at our Game Reactor site. I had two bugs while playing it, and I was like, "Come on! I mean, it can't be that good, and I can't be that excited, and suddenly twice just not being able to continue. And first tried, I had to just restart the full demo. And as we're saying, I mean, it's a demo, it's a Gamescom demo. It's not launched yet. They can fix it, but at the same point, it's like, come on, dude, twice in just a demo. I mean, and it was because of a new mechanic which seemed so fluent and so good for the gameplay, but at the same time, it seemed that it's like a kind of problem. So I'm a little bit worried for that, and it was like a little bit disappointing. But that's it. I think it was my big issue, but at the same time, it's one of my favorites. So
Would you say those bugs were super massive?
I mean, not super massive because well, okay, I got the joke. Okay.
No, but
Okay.
you know, it's a thing with this studio. Ever since Until Dawn, we've seen every pre-release and even after release build to be buggy in some or glitchy in some regards. So enough of the shit talking and bad things, and so let's wrap up this with the biggest highlight, the biggest thing we've seen, the thing we enjoyed the most, and we call it a convention. So let me start myself with. I mean, the elephant in the room is the Callisto Protocol, of course, but I'm slightly disappointed that I couldn't get to play it. I think it was about time we played it because it's releasing in December, and we've seen trailers, and I got to talk to with Glenn Schofield, and that interview I enjoyed the most. And he actually revealed that there's 2 trailers to go. There's going to be another trailer focused on the world, and then the launch trailer. So it's only 2 trailers to go. So we really need to play that firsthand, as soon as possible, even though it's December and not October. But we really need to play that one. And it's the most exciting game I saw. But from what I played, I should choose Moonbreaker by the Subnautica studio. It played well already. It's going to release in an early stage for people to try it out in September already. And it's so fresh, so different for tactical combat approach, XCOM sort of type of deal, with these miniatures that you can paint yourself, and the painting tool is amazing as well. And I found it to be really fresh and different, more so coming from the Subnautica guys. So what about you, Ben?
Well, I'm surprised with what you said. I thought you were going to harp on about Sonic Frontiers, honestly, by judging by the things you wrote.
It was surprising that it was much better than we had been seeing so far. So I really enjoyed my 45 minutes with Sonic Frontiers. You can read my preview at your local Game Reactor site.
Yeah, but for me, there's 2 clear contestants, I think, and they're both obvious ones. And I'm going to pick... I'm going to say that it isn't a Plague Tale Requiem. I think that game is probably going to be like... it could even be my Game of the Year contender. I think it's going to be exceptional.
Wow.
It's just, Plague Tale Innocence was brilliant. But Plague Tale Requiem, it just sort of takes away some of the restrictions that last generation consoles put on it. It's bigger. The world's bigger. There's a lot of rats. If you want to learn how many rats or how many different rats there are going to be, there'll be a news piece going up on that on Game Reactor tomorrow, and there's a lot of rats. Let's just say that.
Your interview just came live, right?
Yes, exactly.
Your
it's just
interview
gone
is
live. You can see it in that
available.
interview.
You can see it now, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rats, and the game looks great. It's a more challenging game, plenty of story. It looks incredible. But the one that I'm going to pick is the one that surprised me, because this game has been in development since like 2013. It's been through like 4 different studios, and somehow it's coming out in a few months. Yeah, a few months. We'll say a few months. And that's Dead Island 2. And I think that game really surprised me. It looked really it played really fun, and it was really exciting, and it just seems like a blast. You know, it seems like one of those games that you can just lose a lot of hours to and just have fun with. And for me, that's what you want out of a Dead Island game. You know, you want something that's a little bit easygoing. It's got a bit of humor dashed in there. You know, it's got a lot of interesting action, and it ticked all the right boxes for me. So I'm excited to see how that game shapes up. I mean, obviously, I only got to play a 20-minute demo, so it's not exactly a great example of the end product. But regardless, it was fun, and it was definitely my highlight of Tuesday, which was the same day that I played Thursday, sorry, which is the same day that I played A Plague Tale. So that's the one I'm going with, Dead Island 2.
Nice. Wow. Oof, this is difficult to get. It can't get much better. What about you, Rebecca?
Do I have to pick one? I mean, it's impossible.
You said Lies of P already, but that's for Friday, so please choose something else. Hollow Knight wasn't available. I know you were looking for Hollow Knight sequel, but you know she was all the time looking around, and there was no Hollow Knight. It was
And
Hollow.
I was crying at the end of every day. I was like, I didn't find anything about Silksong. I'm so sad. But
sad.
well, maybe next year if it's not released yet. I don't have any faith on it, honestly. but well, no Silksong, says Sligo. See, I'm not the only one. Well, the point is, I don't know. I mean, The Evil in Me was really good and really excited to play to be. I wouldn't say it's my highlight because of what I've just said. I really wanted to play Planet of Lana because I saw it when it was firstly announced. I'm sorry, Jacob, but I really enjoyed it. I get to play it. I get to play it, and I really enjoyed it. But I think I should give my highlight to American Arcadia. I mean,
right.
I'm so sorry because they're Spanish. So all my
I
love
didn't
to
know
them.
that. There were plenty of Spanish games, but we can't switch to Spanish language now. I think this would be too confusing.
Yeah, I know. But it was so cool. I mean, I just saw the trailer before just meeting them and playing the demo and everything. So I was just curious before, but playing it, I mean, now I really, really, really want it to get released. I mean, it's amazing. They mix like more or less two kind of different gameplays, but they fit perfectly, and they I don't know, they've done a great job with the dialogues, with all the style, with everything. So I don't know, I'm sure that it's going to be like a really good experience. And if you were interested on the game, I'm sure that when it's going to actually really I did, and it was like a really, really soon demo. I mean, there were a lot of things missing, of course, but they won me, okay? And actually, it worked perfectly. So it's really good. I mean, I was really impressed by that game.
Out of the top of my head, it was Friends versus Friend as well, being in Spanish. There was some more, but enough about our own thing. And Jacob, what was your personal highlight of the show?
Yeah, I think I'll go with two games. The first one is this new game from Obsidian called Pentiment, and it's set in 16th century Bavaria in Germany, and of course that is not for most people the most exciting setting. And the art style is really unique because it's based on these old religious painting and woodcuts. And what I really liked about the game is that it's so an uncommercial setting. But I think they'll make it work anyway because it got the trademark Obsidian humor, got a lot of world building, a lot of dialogue choices, some light RPG elements. And yeah, I'll think it'll be a blast. And of course, it's coming to Xbox Game Pass day one, which will obviously help the game immensely. I think if there wasn't like such a service as Game Pass, it probably wouldn't have been like produced at all. And the other game is Goat Simulator 3. Of course, I have never played the original Goat Simulator, but of course, I was starting this game, and after 3 seconds, my goat was exploding. There was fire, snow, everything was it was chaos all the time. A lot of fun references. There are like 7 new mini games in this one, so it's a bit more gameplay focused. And there's like a parody of what's it called, Rocket League, that was like horrible to play, but still you couldn't stop laughing, and that's, I think, the charm, because there's so many mechanics working together all the time. And actually, stuff like controls and graphic and these kind of things were really, they worked well. It wasn't just like a joke. Of course, it is a big joke, but the fundamental premise seems really solid, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, it's amazing with the Pentiment that Obsidian gets to do big AAA things and AA and Grounded and now the Pentiment. And for more info on the Pentiment, we have both your preview, which is hands-on if I'm correct, and the interview, which explains how they draw the characters to be 3/4 all the time. They're not front, or that's super interesting in my opinion in terms of art and how they make it work like the traditional art, right? So that's it. I don't know if you guys missed something to say, or I think we can wrap it up. It was an immense pleasure, and it's good to be back. As we said there, it's good to be back in person. I think the things we are talking about at your local game reactor site are pretty unique because we were fortunate to be there, and I think developers also shared that passion and that they were so grateful that they could share their personal experiences with us. So I enjoyed it a lot, and I think it's time to do the traditional badge drop. So first, remove your headphones, and then we do the badge drop, okay? Because it's gonna be tangled otherwise.
Oh, I have the luxury of a wireless headset.
1, 2, come on, Jacob. You froze.
Oh my god.
1, 2, 3, and we call it a day.
That feels good. Feels like in the books now, you know? I like that.
Jacob froze in the middle again.
I think I was late too, but well.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Again, a big shout out to our camera ladies, Celine and Natasha. Stay tuned, stay connected to Game Reactor. Keep watching for more Gamescom content in the following days and weeks. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time.
Take care, all.